This prominent figure in late-night political humor is well known for his unreserved and filtered opinions and never backs down. Of course, Greg Gutfeld is the subject of our conversation. For today's video, we'll be pulling back the curtain and focusing on someone he prefers to stay quiet about, even though as media personalities, we pretty much already know everything there is to know about the man. Yes, exactly. Who else than the one person who has supported him through thick and thin just before he achieved success could we be talking about? He had a lady named Elena Musa. Maybe as you learn more about her, you'll see that she's not what you expected and can see why she surprises so many people. He is well known for hosting the political program The Five and Fox's late-night comic discussion show, Gutfeld. What do we know about her though? The woman Greg Gutfeld is married to is Elena Musa. Although her spouse enjoys working in front of the camera, Musa would rather avoid it. She does, however, occasionally grace us with her presence. She studied fashion at New York's Parsons School of Design, where she graduated in 2017. She has been a quiet influence in the fashion industry, having been featured as a stylist in many magazines. The majority of her work is displayed on her Instagram site, along with some completed items and other completed things. Please take a moment to look over some of the work she has done for the design scene, Le Ciel, and Venice magazine. She was even recognized as one of the most stylish attendees of New York Fashion Week in 2015. How then did she meet Greg Gutfeld? Their professional endeavors would inevitably draw them together given their different backgrounds. What's unexpected, though, is that they met in Portugal of all places. In 2004, Elena Musa was employed by Maxim Russia as a photo editor when she happened to meet Greg Gutfeld by coincidence. At the time, Gutfeld served as the chief editor of Maxim's UK edition. Greg Gutfeld recognized her as his wife the first he laid eyes on her. In an interview with talk show host Bill Maher, he at least stated that, "Oh, that's my wife. I just knew it." Gutfeld recalled when he first met her. "After that, I tried to speak with her for 3 days in Portugal. Soon after, they became fast friends, and Musa moved to London to be with Gutfeld. But 2 years later, the latter's tenure as Maxim's main editor came to an end. Consequently, the couple made the decision to relocate to New York City. Their careers went off after making this decision, proving to be the best one they could have taken. Greg Gutfeld decided to ask the question after just 5 months of dating. Musa responded, "Yes, of course." Almost every aspect of their connection is kept under wraps. We do know, however, that their wedding was somewhat small. They were married in a civil ceremony in 2004 according to the New York Times, and they haven't talked much about it since. Elena Musa keeps their relationship much more private between them. She hardly ever talks about her social life. In fact, this is demonstrated by a cursory look at her Instagram account, which only has one picture of her husband. Gutfeld is private, of course, but occasionally he gives us a few pictures of his wife. The talk show presenter himself posted an unposed picture of his wife while they were out to lunch in 2021, following the debut of his show, Gutfeld. Greg Gutfeld makes sure to praise his wife, even though they both try their best to keep their relationship out of the spotlight. His memoirs, Lessons from the Land of Pork Scratchings, A Miserable Yank Finds Happiness in the UK, even included a story about his wife. This, which he wrote in 2008, describes his time spent in London. He wrote there that Musa encouraged him to take the bus and did so in a positive manner. After 5 months of dating, Gutfeld wrote in his book, "I should mention that things with Elena are good." He went on to say, "Elena wants me to take the bus and see the city. I would prefer to just sit at home and watch Big Brother, my new favorite show, if she weren't there to encourage me." Until we finally received an update in October 2022, their family was just the two of them for a good while. The couple revealed their newest addition to the family, a French bulldog named Gus, as their baby for the first time. Gus even made multiple appearances on TV, and Gutfeld joked that he personally chose a French bulldog because the breed resembles him, at least according to what his wife said. He continues by recalling how Musa sent a picture of the dog, saying he looked exactly like her husband. 3 more years passed before Greg Gutfeld revealed to the world that they had recently welcomed a daughter in December 2004. The public was taken aback because they had been worried about the talk show's long-term absence from The Five. The longtime TV personality made the announcement on Gutfeld, saying, "It is with great joy that my wife Elena and I have welcomed a baby girl into the world," and even joked that their daughter Mira is healthy and has a real set of lungs. In addition, he demonstrated that he still has a sense of humor by mentioning that Mira inherited her mother's gorgeous eyes. She got his rock-hard abs on his side. Gutfeld's announcement ended the week-long speculation about his absence from Fox News, which his viewers welcomed. Gutfeld had always wanted to keep his wife's pregnancy a secret, and from his previous behavior, it appears that he has been preparing for the newest member of his family for some time. Just look at that incredibly expensive new house he purchased in Manhattan, New York, in July of that year. According to real estate records, the lavish home in the affluent Soho neighborhood cost an astounding $410.5 million and featured 2,560 square feet of living space with a ground floor retail space. Built in 2009, the building has undergone multiple renovations, including the addition of a loft. The property has 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a large terrace where the couple can entertain some of their friends. Of course, a loft is useless without floor-to-ceiling windows, so their large living room is always well lit during the day, and at night they have a great view of the skyline. You can see that Gutfeld gave careful thought to the house where they want to raise their daughter together. It even has custom cabinetry, which makes it unique. In addition, Gutfeld and his wife owned a beautiful lake house that they purchased in 2018 and a small house close to the area where they paid $24 a month in rent. Their little family was on vacation, and based on the series of pictures she shared on her Instagram account, Elena Musa appears to be enjoying every moment of motherhood, even though some people find it challenging. In July of last year, we even caught a glimpse of her baby weight in the selfie she shared. These pictures include a picture of their little girl Mira playing with 2 other kids wearing a cute black and white striped onesie, a picture of Musa herself eating a croissant, a few pictures of the kids playing, and a stunning view from their balcony. The final picture from her slide shows her wearing an oversized button-down shirt with blue and white stripes and beige bikini bottoms, taken from the reflection of their window. The only thing we know from this photo is that it's Elena Musa, who undoubtedly has rock-hard abs, and not her husband. While many of us like to think that privacy concerns are the reason why Elena Musa and Greg Gutfeld don't post photos of themselves together, many others believe that this is the true reason. How many of you know that Greg Gutfeld is 18 years older than Elena Musa? Well, you already know. As they say, age is just a number. But in all honesty, a large age difference is still detested today, and Greg Gutfeld's relationship is part of that judgment. We know that he occasionally posts a picture of his wife or two, but Musa only has that one picture of her husband from back in 2016. This is only one picture, but it's clear enough that Gutfeld is significantly older than she is. He's wearing a funky pink beanie, but even that can't hide the fact that the man was already in his 50s. Another instance where their age difference was glaringly obvious was when they attended Fox News contributor Rob O'Neill's wedding in August 2017. Here, we see the couple sitting together, their faces directly next to one another, providing a detailed comparison of their complexions. Musa is radiant, beaming, and her skin is tight, showing no signs of aging yet, while her husband's salt and pepper hair shows the effects of his age, even though he captioned the picture to look so dapper and well-groomed. Additionally, you can see the wrinkles around his eyes. Nevertheless, we are not concerned about their age difference because neither of them is concerned about it. The two had been married for over 20 years at the time the photo was taken, demonstrating that their union is not characterized by their age difference. According to the little information available to the public, the two have a smooth relationship, but to our surprise, Greg Gutfeld revealed something that he actually found difficult now that he is much older. The talk show host returned to Fox News after his paternal leave, but this time he is seated in an armchair rather than behind a desk. In a monologue about fatherhood, Gutfeld said, "It's not easy, but it's not earth-shattering either," during the December 10th segment of the Esteemed News. He was lighthearted as usual, making a joke about how his wife had to change his diaper first when she told him she was expecting. He acknowledged that he had to learn how to unlearn a few things, because he has admitted to being selfish for the majority of his life. And he went on to explain how this selfishness helped advance his career. Nevertheless, as a 60-year-old first-time parent, there are a few things he had to learn the hard way. We won't judge Greg Gutfeld for his efforts on this one, but we can expect him to continue expressing his strong opinions. As a parent at his age, he had to learn something that most of his peers had already learned at a much younger age. You have to think about someone else. Parenthood, regardless of age, is always a learning process. And just recently, Gutfeld has something to say about protesters. Greg Gutfeld, in a recent episode of The Five, went on a bizarre tirade about the ugly young protesters and how his devotion to U.S. President Donald Trump has made him more attractive. Trump derangement syndrome, or TDS, is a made-up illness that has been publicly criticized by many people and celebrities. You can't be attractive when you have unattractive thoughts, he told The Five, adding that for those who have recovered from this, including Gutfeld himself, it has made him even more attractive. The mind and the body, they kind of intertwine, he said, explaining that he had let go of his TDS after realizing that it was affecting his appearance. This is not the first time Gutfeld has spoken out about the state of youth today. After making this statement, he went on a lengthy tirade, lecturing young protesters at universities about the destructive power of negative thoughts, and urging the young ones to look to their colleagues from the other side for inspiration, hoping they too will come to their senses. The Gutfeld host made a similar remark back in 2022, mentioning how miserable the students looked at the time. He even went so far as to say that the students were purposefully making themselves look ugly by being unfit and making offensive remarks about the Kid City, ultimately labeling them rejects from the loony bin. According to one reporter, Brandy Cruz told President Trump that she had been suffering from TDS for 8 years and that she was happier, healthier, and more successful after she recovered from the illness. This is thought to be the source of the association between TDS and good looks. Naturally, Trump was quick to back up her claim after hearing that, stating that Cruz did become very attractive. Returning to Gutfeld, he has a lot to say about President Trump lately, even saying that they don't deserve him. In a recent episode, Greg Gutfeld and his panel discussed Trump's remarks regarding religion and activist Greta Thunberg. Tim Shaggs, a panelist, praised Trump's remarks when he discussed the impending prayer initiative, saying, "If a country doesn't have religion, doesn't have faith, doesn't have God, it's going to be very hard to be a good country." The entire panel agreed that religion has always been the standard for keeping people in line. It is well known that the 79-year-old president and the 22-year-old have been at odds for years. Trump also criticized climate activist Greta Thunberg, focusing on her recently failed seafaring public relations stunt, calling her a troublemaker and even saying she should seek medical help for her anger management issue because she is so angry and crazy. The college students and Greta Thunberg aren't the only ones who are offended by Greg Gutfeld's outburst. A few weeks ago, the late-night reporter also made fun of the Democrats and this particular comedian and talk show host. Gutfeld agreed with this sentiment and, if anything, thought the U.S. president was being too kind by comparing Thunberg to a crazy Joe Davola from Seinfeld. While many celebrities, media figures, and other talk show hosts expressed solidarity with ABC host Jimmy Kimmel after he made a comment about Charlie Kirk's death, Greg Gutfeld, for example, never bothered to cry for his fellow TV host. One of Gutfeld's guests at his show, Dr. Gutfeld, responded that Kimmel must have expected that there wouldn't be any pushback at all, arguing that the troubled host was comfortable in a bubble. Drew Pinsky has responded favorably to the news of Kimmel being kicked off the air, saying he has known Kimmel for more than 30 years, but that his colleague has only been sharing one point of view, which is so far from reality. The Five host has a lot to say about his fellow TV show host, claiming that Kimmel was the villain in the film. Gutfeld then said during an appearance on the show that Kimmel didn't imply that Kirk's shooter was MAGA. He said it. Gutfeld then said that if Kimmel doesn't address what he did, then he's done. Gutfeld remarked of Kimmel, "I hate to tell you, buddy, but the guy who shot and killed Charlie Kirk was probably a fan of yours." Gutfeld is also under fire for his unrelenting criticism. First, on his social media account, California Governor Gavin Newsom has sent the 5 hosts a final warning. Newsom accused the aforementioned presenter of being easily agitated and demanded that Fox suspend garbage Gutfeld for making up stories. Additionally, the governor of California noted that the late-night program's ratings were dropping and threatened to take the matter to the Federal Communications Commission (FCC) if Gutfeld was not suspended. Naturally, Newsom's warning sparked discussions on First Amendment free speech, particularly in the wake of the late-night TV program host scandals. As everyone knows, Greg Gutfeld is one of the most controversial figures in American media because of his incisive political humor.